welcome to another episode of the Farr Show, where I am Damien Farr, and it is really hot here. So, let's start talking here where I'm losing my train of thought because it's so hot lately. I don't know what it is. It's really hot and really humid, and the set with all the lights doesn't help. So, really, let's start getting into it so I don't have to really stay here in the hot studio, which is actually just a garage. I always reference that. So we're talking about Community. That's why I had the super cool little special intro with this baby. And this is going to be kept because I like this thing. I'll put it right next to the Conan mug that goes right here. So, why are we talking about Community? Well, it finally got to Netflix recently, and I've never seen it. Huge Donald Glover fan, aka Childish Gambino fan. I like both. So I felt like now was the best time to talk about the show, seeing how it just came out and I just bought it on Blu-ray. I did both. I saw it on Netflix for most of it, and then season 6 I started watching the Blu-rays, and man, this show is good. This is a good show. If you've not seen it, go watch Community. So the basic plot of Community is, well, it's about a lawyer who, let's just say, doesn't actually go to college ever, and gets fired because, well, he never went to college. So he ends up going to a community college thinking, this will be the easiest way to get this done. And I'm like, that seems reasonable. That seems like a reasonable thought right there. So that lawyer is played by Joel McHale, who I have not seen in anything other than this show. And I heard he's in something called The Soup. Never really watched The Soup, but he was in that. So he's like the main guy. He's kind of an asshole, for lack of a better term. Like, Joel McHale, great actor. I don't think he's an asshole, but his character is an asshole who eventually gets like to be a better person later on in the seasons. But the first couple seasons, he's pretty much an asshole. Like, that's all there is to say. And then he becomes a nicer person later on. Then they got his love interest, Gillian Jacobs, which is Britta Perry. I like this show so much that I just bought I just installed Red Dead Redemption 2, and I actually named my horse Britta Perry for some reason. Couldn't think of a name, so I thought Britta Perry. Yeah, I know, weird. But she's great in it too. Haven't seen her in anything either, but she's in it, and she does great. She's pretty much like an activist of some kind. She actively campaigns for almost everything, so it's really weird. But I think she does great as the actual option here of Britta Perry. Once again, don't know what she's in other than this. Then we're going on to Danny Pudi. I don't know how to pronounce it. He plays Abed, who is the film-loving TV show nerd, which is kind of myself when it comes down to it. He's great. He's the most disjointed of the group, I would say. Like, he doesn't fit in at all, but he's there. They all don't really fit together, but they're kind of like a breakfast club in a way, but they're more of like a lunch club because they do this right before lunch normally. So I think he does great too. Don't get me wrong, don't know anything else he's in, but I think he does great as Abed, who doesn't seem to really get human emotions or anything like that. He kind of just goes with it and wings it. Then we got Yvette Nicole Brown, first one of the cast so far that I actually know who they are. She was in Drake and Josh, and she plays Shirley, a Christian-loving woman. So, I think she does great overall. So, of all these actors so far, she's the first one to actually leave the show. She goes up until season 6, episode 1. She has like a little cameo at the end of the episode and then is gone from the rest of the series. I'm almost done with season 6. Like, I got 6 episodes left, so I assume she's not coming back at this point. Then, we got Alison Brie, who, great actress, know her from Mad Men, even though I've never seen the show. She's in a couple movies and stuff like that too. She's in Glow, which I've watched some of it, and I plan to watch more of it because I've liked it, and I'm a big wrestling fan, so it seems like a good fit. She plays Annie, who is a straight-A student who becomes a drug addict in high school. And then she went to high school with Donald Glover's Troy character. Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino. The reason that I started watching this show, and the reason I have the most photos of him put around here, because I like Donald Glover. I think he's a great actor, great writer, great director. Is there anything this man can't do? Like, seriously. As sad as it sounds, I want to be the white Donald Glover. And part-time wrestler in there as well. So, but I think he's great. And I love the show Atlanta. Troy is pretty much a football jock who went to school with Annie, and he never saw her, pretty much, didn't know who she was. And pretty much he gets an injury, so then he doesn't get his scholarship to whatever college he probably wanted to. Ends up going to this community college called Greendale, and ends up meeting these people. Ken Jeong, best known for The Hangover, which I know, actually. So 1, 2, and 3. And he's also on Dr. Ken, which was a show on ABC to my knowledge, where he played himself as a doctor, because he's actually a doctor in real life, which is really ironic to think that you're a doctor and you're playing the guy who likes to get screwed up in The Hangover and in shows and everything. But he's good too. He's their Spanish teacher originally. Then he becomes a student. Then he becomes an evil dictator. Then he becomes Changnesia. He has a lot of stuff going on, to be honest. And then finally, last but not least, well, when I say last but not least, I definitely mean least. Sorry, Chevy Chase. I'm not a big Chevy Chase fan, so... Chevy Chase plays... I always forget his name. So, you know, eventually I'll figure out his name. But Chevy Chase plays the old racist guy, so that's all there is to say. These are the main ones in the first couple seasons, the first 2, and then they add the Dean in there as well, who I don't remember his name, but he was good too, so I'm okay with that. And then after season 4, kind of drops off for cast-wise. So let's start ranking the seasons here too as well, because I feel like that's important with this show. I think 1, 2, and 3, those 3 seasons are amazing. Nothing wrong with those. I think those are easily FARRs. Then I'd go for season 5, an FAR. Season 6, an FA. And season 4, an FA, but just below season 6. The reason why season 6 is so low is Dan Harmon was not on this one. And being honest, this is one of the most well-written shows I've seen in a while. Rick and Morty is really good too, also made by Dan Harmon, and also one of my favorite shows with Atlanta and everything. So I think overall these shows are great. These are great shows. Like, that's all there is to say. Or these are great. This is a great show that I would recommend watching 100%. If you've not seen Community, go see Community. It is worth it 100%. And if you like it, go watch Rick and Morty. I'm gonna go start watching Samurai Jack because I haven't watched that show in forever, but I remember that being one of my favorite shows. That's not gonna be in the list that's coming up Friday, though I may say it as an honorable mention because I'm remembering it now. But so far, everything I've watched, I give this show overall an FARR. It's one of my favorite shows. Don't get me wrong, some of the seasons in quality dip a bit, but they are still good seasons. The show overall is a great show. Definitely worth a watch. So, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and have a far off night.